I say to this day, and I do it based on my reaction. Obviously, this is personal. I say it's the greatest knockout of all time. First time I ever stood up, I couldn't sit down. I was standing up. I was just like, oh!
I saw that. I saw you stand up. That's the first time I see
It was just, what?
Unexpected him the last 6 rounds with AJ. In my opinion, he won 4 of them. People will argue that. He at least won 3.
I'm a little up, but will you take care of me forever and ever?
When Anthony Joshua finally landed a powerful 6th-round knockout to stop Jake Paul in their highly awaited heavyweight fight, Joe Rogan's live reaction showed just how huge the moment was for combat sports. Rogan had warned everyone about Joshua's one-punch power and the danger Paul faced. When the knockout happened, Rogan didn't hold back, calling it not just a fight-ending punch, but one of the most brutal and unforgettable knockouts in boxing history.
Would have either come full steam ahead 100 miles an hour, or Jake would have moved around the ring at 100 miles an hour. There's 2 things I would have done. Tried to shut Jake down at 100 miles an hour, or I would have gone on the back foot. So Jake decided to move around the ring, and I decided to put the pressure on.
The fight, called Judgment Day, was set for 8 3-minute rounds in the heavyweight division. Joshua was the clear favorite because of his experience and bigger size. He stood 6 feet 6 inches and weighed about 243 pounds, while Paul weighed around 216 pounds. After a slow start, Joshua took control. He knocked Paul down several times in the 5th round, then ended the fight in the 6th with a huge right hand that dropped Paul and made the referee stop the match.
Heavyweight champ Anthony Joshua. Paul was sturdy for the first couple of rounds, but as the fight went on, the more experienced Joshua began to take control. After continuously connecting in the 5th round, it was only a matter of time before it was over. In the 6th, Joshua went on to knock out Paul with a big right hand. Joshua improved his career record to 29-4 now. Paul loses for the 2nd time in his career to go along with 12.
Anthony Joshua versus Jake Paul was one of the most talked about fights of the year. People were excited because of who they are, but also because the fight showed a big clash between real heavyweight boxing and the new social media influencer era.
Great performance by Jake, brother.
Come on, bro. He's a fucking legend for that. He has such big balls getting in the ring with that guy, dude. Josh was a monster. He stayed in it the whole time, and I'm really proud of Jake, dude. All my respect to him, bro. Whatever outcome. I mean, dude, he went 6.5 rounds with Anthony Joshua, one of the best in the world. So I got nothing but respect.
And got up like 2 times?
No, it was sick.
Talk about that. I mean, there's been other heavyweights that have felt that right hand who haven't got up.
The Nagano, so many people, bro. The overhand right. Jake's got a tough chin, dude. I think he does whatever he wants after this. He just has such big balls, dude. He had to keep moving. That was the only strategy. People are gonna say he ran around the ring. They don't know. They don't understand fucking boxing.
He showed a ton of heart, right?
Ton of heart.
What's next for Jake Paul? Where
Like
does
I
he
said,
go?
whatever he wants. Whatever he wants.
Joshua, a former 2-time heavyweight champion, came in as a big favorite. Paul, a YouTuber turned boxer, used his fame to bring more attention to boxing, even though many experts questioned his skills. Still, very few people believed he had a real chance against Joshua's elite power.
So, some people believe in fairy tales. Whoever believed that Jake Paul was going to win, that was an absolute fairy tale. I've got a friend in a group message that said, I just put $20 on Jake Paul to win. I was like, bro, you just wasted your money. There was never a world in which Jake Paul was going to beat Anthony Joshua. It was always a matter of how the fight would end. So I watched all the pundits talking about the fight. Even Rosendo, my boxing coach, I was like, does Anthony Joshua represent boxing? Everybody from that world felt like Anthony Joshua was representing boxing. And as the fight started to go on, first off, he was representing boxing, so they wanted him to get the job done. All right, first and foremost. You can't lose to a guy that's perceived to be a YouTuber, even though today, Jake Paul is more boxer than YouTuber. I've said this time and time again. When you have resources, when you can spend $1 million a year on training camps, housing, food, coaches, this is not recreational anymore. He's a boxer. He's just not a boxer at that level. I ran into his brother in New York City, and I said to Logan, what parameters are in place, Logan? What safeguards do they have to make sure that Anthony Joshua doesn't hurt your brother? He said there are none. He goes, they're going to just straight fight. So in that regard, you got to give credit to Jake Paul.
After the fight, Anthony Joshua spoke honestly about how he did. Even though he won with a 6th-round knockout, he said it was not his best performance. He admitted he struggled early to land clean punches and didn't trap Jake Paul as fast as people expected. Joshua called it a win but not a success and said he still has a lot to improve.
What I could have done better is a lot of things. 100%. In the fight game, you've seen the amazing fighters that have graced us over the last 100 years, and the expectations that we put on ourselves are immense, but I tried my best. Jake done well while it lasted, but if you remember what I said in the interview with Cameron is, fighting's not just physical, it's psychological. And when you understand the psychological warfare, I did say to you is that, Jake, what's gonna happen? I'm gonna see a time when I'm gonna take your soul and you're either gonna give up or you're gonna get knocked out.
Even after the knockout, Joshua praised Jake Paul's heart and toughness. He said Paul showed real spirit by getting back up again and fighting on against a much more experienced former champion. Joshua added that not many fighters would face someone at his level, and Paul's effort in hard moments deserved respect.
Eddie, AJ's won 6 rounds, he kind of dismantled him, he took his time. How do you see it?
Yeah, it was a frustrating 2-3 rounds maybe, because Jake was moving so much, holding, but did well, I thought. I mean, I was impressed with him. I mean, I was more impressed with his toughness, because I think that last shot would have knocked out most heavyweights. I mean, I know
he broke his jaw.
Yeah, I know, it knocked him out, but he was not unconscious. You know, I mean, look, he may not come back from, if he has broken his jaw, it's a big injury to come back from.
Well, there's pictures of him in hospital right now.
Well, listen, you've got to respect him, because he did what many people wouldn't do, which was get in the ring with him. And, you know, he didn't, I know he run and hold, but he also let his hands go at times. And he was in the firing line, and, you know, we got 6 good rounds in the end of actual work.
Is that how you see it in the end?
Yeah, I actually think it's a positive, because, you know, we could have gone in there and got it all over with 45 seconds. He's done an 8-week camp, and now he's done 6 rounds. He's got something to go back and work on with the team.
Paul suffered a broken jaw during his 6th-round knockout loss. After Joshua landed a strong right hand to end the fight, Paul was bleeding from his mouth. In his post-fight interview, he said he believed his jaw was broken, and that was later confirmed.
Logan, what's up, man? What's your reaction to it?
I'm just so proud of him. My mom has it.
Your brother fought his ass off, man. I mean, other heavyweights have taken that right hand and only took 1.
I'm just so proud of him. That was incredible. In my view, that was a victory on all fronts.
Right.
Like, minus the actual victory, obviously, of course, but bro, like, no one expected him to last 6 rounds with AJ. In my opinion, he won 4 of them. People will argue that he at least won 3. No one expected him to last that long. Rolled his ankle, broke his jaw, still fucking fighting, man. Like, that's toughness. You know, most people wouldn't have the balls ever to step in a boxing ring in their life. He stepped in a boxing ring with one of the baddest men on the planet, who's 40 pounds heavier than him and 6 inches taller. That's insane. He's one of the most skilled fighters on the planet. My brother, as a fucking YouTuber, went 6 rounds with him in a fight with a broken jaw and rolled ankle. I'm so proud of him. That was just unbelievable.
I saw you talking crap to AJ at one point.
I was trying to get his head. I think I pissed him off. I was just saying fuck that shit. I love AJ. But bro,
I saw you going down the fight game.
I was talking so much. But I just pissed him off. Then he broke my brother's jaw.
Broke his jaw, huh?
Jake showed his usual confidence after the fight by posting a screenshot of his x-ray with a double broken jaw. He wrote, "Double broken jaw. Give me Canelo in 10 days." Doctors confirmed his jaw was broken in 2 places. He even drove himself to the hospital for treatment. His recovery was expected to take about 4 to 6 weeks, and he shared updates online while thanking fans for their support.
Nikita, just down here, Jeffrey from The Sun. Just to follow up on Jake, he said he broke his jaw in the aftermath. Has he gone to hospital? What's the health update on Jake?
Yeah, we think he broke his jaw. He's fine. We met with Netflix afterwards. He took a shower. He drove himself to the hospital. A broken jaw is very common in sports, particularly in boxing or MMA. And I think the recovery time from the doctors and surgeons we've already talked to is 4 to 6 weeks.
Nikisa Bidarian praised Jake Paul's heart, toughness, and game plan. He said Jake did very well against one of the hardest punchers in heavyweight boxing and may have even won a few early rounds. But he explained that Paul didn't lose because of skill. The real reason was Joshua's bigger size and strength, which drained Paul's energy and led to the knockout. Badarian said Joshua's physical power wore Paul down, and Jake's effort still deserved respect.
And ultimately, that's what happened. And ultimately, Jake Paul lasted a lot longer than anyone said he was going to. And I haven't seen the official scorecards. I don't know if anyone else has, but I think he might have won a round or two or even three. He was doing tremendously well in there against a person who is vastly more skilled, vastly larger, vastly more powerful. And he did it on 4 weeks preparation.
What would you like to see next for Jake?
I'd like him to take a beat, relax, and then think about when he's going to fight next. You know, we talked about June, July timeframe. He loves the sport. He loves MVP. He loves the athletes. He loves giving them platform and push. This young lady right here, the whole time when I was talking to her, I said, what do you think? She goes, Jake's going to win. I believe in him. He can do whatever he wants to do. That's the kind of family that we're building at MVP. It's a fighter-first organization. You guys saw our weigh-in yesterday. That stuff costs a lot of money. But we want to put on the best brand for these fighters to show the world what boxing is about.
Some fighters praised Jake Paul for his toughness for facing a former heavyweight champion and lasting until the 6th round, despite the big size and experience gap. They said he showed heart and determination, even though he lost by knockout. Eddie Hearn also recognized Paul's effort but said the result was never in doubt. He explained that lasting 6 rounds showed Paul's toughness, not boxing skill, and that the fight clearly showed the difference between social media fighters and elite professionals.
Performance, I mean,
Good.
got
I
it
mean,
done.
first 2 or 3 rounds, a little bit frustrating because you've been out of the ring for a year and a half and you've got a guy that's just running around the ring and, you know, you can say you've got to cut him off, but when they're moving at that kind of speed and they're holding up close, but his clinching was quite good, Jake. Like, yeah, listen, you know, I'm not saying he's going to go and win a world title, but he just fought Anthony Joshua and went 5 and a bit rounds. So, you know, respect to him, and it was good to get some rounds in, to be honest with you. He's got a new team. If it would have gone 45 seconds, maybe people would have been more impressed, but we wouldn't really have got any ring time. So we've got that, and now it's a case of when we're at next.
You described Jake as average a few years ago. What's your assessment of him now?
Decent. If you listen to what I said in the build-up, I said he used to be average, now I think he's decent. And the same. I think he's like a top 50 cruiserweight in the world. Top 50, top 60 cruiserweight in the world. So, yeah, and look, you know, like I said, I hope he's okay. 4-0 to Matchroom over MVP. But we're friends now, so respect to him.
And your message for Fury?
Fury, listen, we'll see you in September.
After the fight, Ryan Garcia shared his honest opinion on social media, which got a lot of attention. He said he respected Paul's effort but compared him to Gervonta Davis, another top boxer. Garcia tweeted, "I think Davis would have done him worse," meaning Davis could have hit Paul harder or ended the fight faster than Joshua. Many experts agreed and said this wasn't top-level boxing. Some people still think the Joshua versus Paul fight should never have happened.
I mean, look, fair play to Jake Paul. He has a lot of guts, and the fact that he wasn't carried out of this fight on a stretcher, you know, certainly I guess you can say is a positive. But what did I think about this? What did I think about Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul? Look, it felt like Anthony Joshua carried him. It felt like Jake Paul brought in as much of a negative anti-style as possible, circling away, constantly holding Joshua, constantly falling to the ground. Again, while you're certainly going to give respect for the YouTube star turned fighter for having the guts to put on this type of show and to stand in there for as long as he did until a clean right hand in the corner when Paul was absolutely exhausted, dropped him and ended the fight. This is not elite boxing. And we knew that coming in, but if these fights are going to be sanctioned as official fights, like the Mike Tyson fight from last year, like this one, how much longer is the appetite for the fan going to be there when this is such a bad look overall for the sweet science, the sport of boxing, which, you know, cannot get out of its way anyway on a regular basis?
Critics say the big difference in size, experience, and skill between a former heavyweight champion and a social media boxer was too much. They argue the fight was more for show than real sport. Many also worry about safety, pointing to Paul's broken jaw and several knockdowns.
Anthony Joshua being taken 6 rounds by Jake Paul. We're in the aftermath here. The press conference is going on behind us. We're yet to see Jake Paul and Anthony Joshua out here. Ak, you were ringside, you were around the whole fight. People are complaining that Anthony Joshua may have embarrassed himself in there tonight, letting Jake take him 6 rounds.
It's ridiculous. Anybody that saying that doesn't know anything about boxing. First off, if you see how Jake was moving and clinching the first 3-4 rounds of that fight, you would understand. It doesn't matter how bad you are. If a fighter in front of you is destined to not get hit and not get knocked out, it's almost impossible to knock that guy out. When Jake was okay with exchanging and trying, even he was exhausted, he said, I'm going to try. That's when AJ was there to land the shots. AJ did what he was supposed to do. Not easy to knock a guy out that's surviving. You know that.
Yeah, I do. I wondered early on whether he didn't have a lot of adrenaline and he was walking Jake down. Jake was making himself small and moving away. And AJ said, you know what, I'm going to take my time here and marinate you.
Exactly. Listen, when a guy that's moving like Jake, that's inexperienced, you're going to gas out. I knew it for after half the first round. If Jake keeps moving like that, he's going to gas out in 2-3 rounds. And I noticed that AJ said, okay, I'm going to let him run around, right? People are screaming, cut the ring off. Let me let him run around and gas out. Once he gassed out, what happened? He had to stay in front of him.
Experts say these crossover fights hurt professional boxing. They focus more on entertainment and money than real competition, and the fight was mostly for hype, not skill.
Result was
the bigger picture. You and I are boxing guys. We go to boxing all the time. The question we perhaps need to ask is, did that entertain the fans tonight? Should we be seeing that again? Is that it now? We've seen that novelty. Should a fight like that between an Olympic champion, a heavyweight world champion, against a relative novice, should that be sanctioned and licensed by a commission? It was a one-off. Jake's a one-off, but we shouldn't be seeing a lot of these events, in my view.
Never again. We should never have that gap of experience.
The mismatch.
Skill set should never happen again. I mean, to your point, Jake is an anomaly, right? Like, we can let him get that off. He tried it, and he even landed a couple of shots, but you saw at first, as soon as he landed the first right hand, even he saw, I can't hurt this guy. I'm not going to.
It was a pebble hitting a tank, is how I've described it.
Great description. So I think it's, in some sense, we needed to have this in order for it not to happen again. To get it out of our system.
Right.
In order for it not to happen again. And look, let's not ignore that there were other fighters on the card who were watched, who were seen from places all around the world. So it served its purpose, and kudos to Netflix for allowing it to happen.
Yeah, Baumgardner was very good. Alicia Baumgardner defending her belts. Caroline Dubois was very good. She signaled herself to the American market, as you mentioned. So at least they benefit from it as well tonight, which will continue to happen with MVP and Netflix.
And that's what Jake and Nikisa, that's their agenda, right? Of course, it's Jake, but Jake has all of that in mind. Who can I showcase on this event? He did it for Amanda Serrano. She's made millions. He's starting to look, Dubois, she looked great. I want to see her again. Me personally, I became a fan of her tonight, right? And I'm going to support her.
What do you think? Was this fight a real test of skill or just a show that shouldn't have happened? Share your thoughts in the comments below.